Thanks very much indeed. Yes, there is now the first big challenge 3 weeks after demonetization was introduced for the government and the banks, with payday coming up in just a few days from now. And where we are right now in State Bank of India headquarters is ground zero for bearing the brunt of that challenge, because it is India's largest bank. I'm joined by the MD of the State Bank of India, Rajnish Kumar, who's the man in the hot seat. Thank you very much, sir, indeed, for talking to us. Now, it's been 3 weeks since the demonetization was brought in, and at least anecdotally, the reports are coming in that ATMs are still dry, queues are still long. What's the problem?
If you look at the ATM transactions, let me first clarify that after initial 2 or 3 days, from State Bank of India perspective, a number of transactions which were handling before demonetization, that is 8th November, our number of financial transactions are either same or more every day. In terms of amount disbursed, the amount has come down by about 30%, and that is because now there is a restriction, and because of that amount, as earlier we were disbursing 26 to 2800 crore daily. Number of transactions was anywhere above 75 lakhs to 1 crore, and even today I am doing the same thing. My transactions are 90 lakh to 1 crore, and I am disbursing 1800 to 2000 crore daily.
The number of transactions may be the same, sir, but the fact is that a lot of people are still facing problems. They're going to ATMs, the money is not there. So where is the problem lying? Is the RBI not able to supply the banks with enough cash in time?
No, the very fact that the ATMs are operating at almost the same availability, what is happening, you see the queue, because I believe that one is that yes, all 100% ATMs are not working. And
what percentage of ATMs are not working in your view, whether the shortage?
So industry wise, I don't have exact number, but for State Bank of India, our availability earlier also used to be around 92%, and even now it is around 90%. And 39,000 ATMs at the last count have been recalibrated for dispensing 2,500 rupee notes. 2,000 rupee notes.
As far as the queues are concerned, how do you explain that then?
There could be two reasons. One is because when people say that not all ATMs are working, so they feel that as soon as the cash comes, they should take it out. That could be the one reason. Because earlier, as I'm saying, that number of transactions, if they are the same, those transactions would have happened in, say, 16 hours. And today when people say that this ATM is functioning, so they may be queuing up.
No, but Mr. Kumar, are you virtually saying that there is no shortage of cash that's coming into the banks? I mean, surely that would be a surprising position to take if that's what you're saying.
So what I'm saying is that today, even now, after demonetization, we are disbursing 6,000 crore worth of cash in the system every day.
Per day, you are distributing
6,000 crore. And out of which 1,800 crore to 2,000 crore is through ATM channel, and rest is through branch channel, cash at POS, mobile, BC channel. So that way, I think that yes, the task is massive, because almost as per the estimates which are given, 14 lakh crore worth of currency and some of it. So there is a pressure on the cash logistics.
How much in terms of what you're saying you're distributing 6,000 crores, but obviously the demand is for more. That's why you have queues. So how much less currency are you getting from the RBI than you would want?
No, it's not a question of like how much less currency I am getting. We are making indents to RBI, and depending upon the situation, I am managing about 50% of the currency chests in this country. Banking system maintains about 4,000 currency chests, and 1,900 are with the State Bank of India. So it is like just absolutely normal situation. That is statement I cannot make. But we are getting supply wherever we are telling them there is a shortage. They are making efforts, and we are able to like meet requirement of post offices. We are meeting requirement of district cooperative banks. We are meeting requirement of our own ATMs. If any bank sends us this thing, but yes, as I said, that 14 lakh crore, and as against this,
huge amount,
RBI last figures I saw that more than 2 lakh crore has been pumped into the system. So what I believe is that as the supply of
2 lakh crores has
already been
injected
in the system.
So that's still a considerable gap, because one shouldn't also convey that things are that normal, because people are facing problems. So we want to, reflect
that. I agree that it is not a normal situation. But this situation is also not as bad sometimes as it is made out to be.
Fair enough. I want to ask you that there was a report in today's Economic Times that the RBI might be actually rationing liquidity, rationing cash. because they want people to move to cashless. Is that true?
No, right now, the restriction, is that on a savings bank account, you can't draw more than 24,000 rupees. On a business current account, you can't draw more than 50,000 per week.
Yeah.
But what RBI has also said that after 29th of November,
Yeah.
if any currencies you deposit, which
Yeah.
is not SBN, SBN is a 1,500 rupee note,
Yeah.
so you are allowed to withdraw that to the full extent. So what I would appeal also through your channel to the public is that circulate this cash. And if you have any surplus currency, please bring it to the bank so it can be circulated. There is no need to just get 10,000 rupee, 100 rupee note and keep it at home. Please keep on spending
Right
it.
now,
Give it to me.
people may not be convinced by that. But reason why I asked is about whether there's any deliberate scarcity is because payday is coming up. I mean, in a couple of days. Are you prepared for that?
We are very much prepared for that. And
Okay.
why I say so, that for last 20 days,
Yeah.
all of us are working more than at a 100% capacity.
Okay.
I said that 6,000 crore. So by no means this figure of 6,000 crore will go up substantially even if it is payday. One more trend which I have statistics up to 1 p.m. today,
Yes.
and I compared compared to yesterday.
Yes.
So I am not seeing any increase in the number of transactions which have happened till 1 p.m. today.
No, but are you making any special provisions for payday? Because we were also reading reports that in some cases, angry public have surrounded banks, they've locked in bank officials and they've gheraoed the banks. So extra security has been sought for payday. I mean, are you also anticipating any need for that?
We have to be prepared. And as I said that from the beginning, we have been handling huge number of transactions at the branches.
Will you need
And,
security
from the
payday?
beginning. From the beginning.
But
From
any
the beginning.
extra for this period? No.
Just to be cautious that there may be some trouble spot here and there, but we don't want that there should be any trouble spot. We have made arrangements for very orderly handling of the queues. We have made arrangement for seating, we have made arrangement for serving water. So it's not that we are not taking care of the people who are in the queue. But at some places, if the crowd becomes unmanageable outside the bank, then bank does not have much control over that, and where the security requirement is there.
Yes.
But if you visit my branches, you will
Yeah.
find that it is very orderly.
But I also did want to ask you though that one of the problems people are facing is that it's mostly 2,000 rupee notes which are being pumped in. We're yet to see the 500 come in, and you can't really trade the 2,000 unless you have change. So that's a problem.
That I agree that this problem will be alleviated once more and more 500 rupee currency comes in the market. What it will do, it will have two ways it will affect. The acceptability of 2,000 rupees note, what we call the velocity of circulation for 2,000 rupees note, it will increase. And the demand for 100 rupee note will also come down.
But was that a mistake to pump in so much 2,000 first without bringing in 500?
I won't call it a mistake because everything when you examine in hindsight, you always feel it could have been done this way or that way.
Right.
But when we are looking at replacing not a entire 14 lakh crore, but a part of it even. So one would be that you need to put in some currency in the market of higher denomination. And at the same time, the problem with the 500 rupee or 1,000 rupee note would be that you have to mop up as much as possible the old currency notes and then pump in the 500 rupee new notes.
Now, one thing I wanted to ask you is that earlier it was all about trying to crack down on black money, suck out the black money from the system. Now it is all about this is to go cashless. Now, in an economy like India, where 90% transactions, as you know, are in cash, how realistic is this to go
So
cashless?
realistic means that percentage must change. And there was a digital push from the bank side also, even earlier, even prior to demonetization.
Yes.
What the demonetization has now done is that it has changed the dynamic. Earlier I was to go and pursue and pursue and pursue, and the response would be very timid.
Yeah.
But now the situation has changed and I am flooded with the demand, and what our energy and effort is now to meet that demand.
Demand for what?
Demand for digital. Digital means like the debit card spends has gone up.
Okay.
In this country, there are 800 million debit cards. And they were mostly being used for drawing money from the ATMs. But there are 1.4 million, 14 lakh ATMs in the country.
Yeah.
So the same card can be used for doing a transaction, and 4-digit PIN. You need it for ATM withdrawal, and the same 4-digit PIN works on the for your swipe transactions.
No, that's fair enough. But I'm saying that now you have a situation, you can do the transition gradually so people are able to adapt. Now you've created a situation where they don't have a choice. It's like saying tomorrow we'll ban all cars, so people will have to get onto cycles. That's how it's happening. So again, I put it to you, if that's realistic, because there are huge parts of this country which fall outside the purview of the banking system, right? So how do you do shock cashless when they don't have access to banks, they don't have access to ATMs, you know?
So, no, one is that if you look at the network, it is not only the branch network or the ATM network. For example, in State Bank, we have 65,000 business correspondents and what we call CSP, customer service.
Business correspondents, for the people who don't know, are the chaps who go on their bikes with, you know, with the,
No,
with the
no,
machine.
it is
They go
all
to the
kiosk.
last mile.
No,
The
it
kiosk,
is
yeah.
kiosk. It is a kiosk.
They do
They
the
will
last
come
mile.
there. It is the last mile, and they have been a very useful channel even post demonetization.
But just to put it in perspective, 65,000, and you have a total subscriber base, you're telling me, of almost 300 million.
Right.
So that's quite a large gap.
Right. So, but even if you look at our current transaction pattern, out of if there are 100 transactions a day, 22 happen at the branches, 43 happen at ATM, and rest 35 happen on what we call these alternate channel, which includes your mobile banking, internal banking,
Right.
internet banking, and your BC.
So about 60% is happening in the old-fashioned way. About 65%, about 30% you're saying is happening mobile or internet. But a lot of that I assume would be the big companies that are using it. The Aam Aadmi is still dependent heavily on cash. But you brought in an e-wallet now,
Right.
you were telling me.
Yes, yes. We introduced it last year in August 15.
And you were trying
I can show you.
And you were
It is
showing
a-
it to us to show
Yeah.
that this can compete with
This can
Payday
compete
and
with
anybody.
No, anyone. And SBI Buddy, I think this its functionality are no less than anyone, or rather more. One functionality which which we have introduced recently and which will be a big boost is the cash-in facility. So people will be able to go to my CSPs,
Right.
and even if they don't have a bank account,
They can
or
give
if
the
they have a
cash.
debit card, they can give the cash and their wallet will be uploaded with that money, and then they can use it for their transactions. So going forward, I believe that one is that people should go for the e-wallets. It's a very convenient mode. It doesn't need POS. It is mobile to mobile, person to person, person to merchant.
I agree with you, but I'm just saying again, if
Yeah.
you think outside of cities, a small, chap in a village, he wants to buy his vegetables from a vegetable seller. He goes with his cell phone. The chap comes with his cell phone. I mean, we still have a lot of systems to put in place before we can arrive there.
I fully agree, because it is a question of, one is the availability of products and infrastructure. Second is the question of mindset. So what I have found in these 21 days is that mindset has now changed and people are looking to alternate of the cash. So willingness is there, and we should never estimate. We do say that rural and semi-urban people cannot, but you see there is a lot of young people even in rural and semi-urban area. They are educated, they can adopt.
I'm not questioning that. I'm saying that cell phone connectivity is not great. Last mile banking is not great. Smartphones are not there with everyone. So I'm saying these are all genuine problems.
But these were the problems earlier also. So if you were just giving cash in remote area, that's not the only solution.
Right.
And I think mobile connectivity in most of the part of the country is good. And wherever it is not there, it can be done. There are certain you call what dark areas or grey areas.
Those
But those
can be
centers are
covered
very
up.
many. They can be covered up.
Renana Jhabwala of Seva, which also does banking informal, as you know, she said that, very large number of villages do not have a concrete brick and mortar bank, at least in a 10-kilometer radius. So,
I think we are again coming back to that question, that what is the definition of brick and mortar? It also needs to undergo a change. But 5,000 and above population,
yeah.
There is a definite mandate from RBI that there has to be a brick and mortar branch. If it is below 5,000, then definitely you can cover it through business correspondent channel.
Okay, that's now as far as cashless is concerned. Now let me ask you, RBI has recently passed rules which say that the amount of cash you can hold in your reserve, banks were thinking a lot of this cash that's coming in, you can hold it in reserve and make some money out of earning interest. They now said you can't do that. Is that a problem for you?
Well, it has increased my negative carry on CRR. Earlier when we had 4% CRR, my negative carry was 27 basis points.
Okay,
And
that's
that was
in simple language, when you
Yeah.
say that you could keep 4%
CRR
of your cash
in CRR
as a reserve.
as a reserve,
Yes.
then I had to load 27 basis point when I was deciding my marginal cost of lending. So the cost to the borrower, to that extent, it will go up. in the sense that if we were to thinking of bringing down the MCLR temporarily,
MCLR is?
This marginal cost of lending rate. Currently it is 8.90% for a 1 year MCLR, and rest different maturities it may differ. So the impact
That's going to go up.
that's if not going up, but it will not go down for the time being till such time this additional CRR requirement is there.
In simple terms, for the Aam Aadmi, this means that the cost of loans is going to go up. It's not going to come down.
I won't say going up, but I am definitely saying that for the timing till such time this measure is in place, it is difficult for the bank to bring down the borrowing cost for the borrowers.
Okay, because you're also spending, I'm sure, a lot of money keeping your banks open and your staff is working extra time. So that additional cost is also getting loaded.
Very much there, some costs are there. We have not, we didn't have time even to now count or
You're in board mode.
So we will do that.
Last thing I want to ask you, one concern is that a lot of money, black money, is getting laundered as white. People are using these, whatever you want to call them, mules, cash coolies, whatever the word is, to dump that money into banks. Are you noticing some of that in the trends of deposits?
As far as our BC channel is concerned, CSP, from the very beginning we had put some daily limits for even deposit into the account. So that way we had taken certain precautions. Some spurt is there, but not alarming in State Bank of India, that I can confirm to you.
Not alarming.
Not alarming.
Okay.
And the other thing is that as far as black money laundering is concerned, government have their own ways and means of finding it and taking action. And
So
already
that's
the amendment has already come in the parliament about the income tax liability.
But in conclusion, you know, the big picture that all this money that's coming to banks, the assumption is this will help reliquidate you, this will help you deal with your bad assets, perhaps give more reasonable loans. That's not happening, you're saying?
It has no relation, honestly.
There's no relation?
The relation is to the
Why
extent, no, I will tell you why. One is that there is a balance between the currency with the public and demand deposits with the bank, what you call money supply. So if the currency has gone down and deposits have gone up, and as the currency position, people start drawing more and more cash is pumped into the savings, so this is a flow, and you will see a decline in the savings bank and current accounts surely. And the other thing is that the money, it is people's money. It impacts my liability side. But how does it? Definitely, if this money or my CASA ratio goes up, and once the CRR is relaxed, so it will help.
CASA is the current account, savings account.
Current account and savings account.
Right.
So once that proportion goes up, to that extent, my cost of funding comes down, and that benefit can be passed on to the borrowers for sure. Right now, it will not happen because of the additional CRR requirement.
Yes, Mr. RBI has put on you.
But this is a temporary measure, and there is a review on 9th of December.
All right.
So once the CRR requirement is relaxed, believe me that we are very friendly to our borrowers, and we will pass on the benefit to them.
Right. Mr. Rajnish Kumar, thank you for talking to us so extensively for this and for giving us an idea of how things are. Well, that was Mr. Rajnish Kumar. He had a lot to say about the preparations the bank is making for payday and about how they're managing with this additional pressure. We'll be taking a short break and we'll come back with much more on the other side.